Thank you very much. And now we turn our attention, Mike, to a very important display from the Safe and Sound team.
Nick, thank you very much indeed. Yes, with more and more new dog owners and, of course, the Kennel Club, as part of its responsibility, being involved in the education of the safe and sound handling of dogs. We are delighted to bring you a display that shows that. And the man to bring it to you is known, actually, within the Kennel Club as Mr. Safe and Sound himself. Delighted to welcome Mr. Mark Callis to take up commentary.
Thank you, Mike. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to a short display about the Kennel Club Safe and Sound scheme, a scheme that was introduced in 2003 to promote the safe interaction between children and dogs, and to show everyone the benefits that a dog can bring to a child's life. After all, dogs are our friends and companions, providing for us richer and happier lives, whether we are adults or children. Nearly a quarter of children in the UK live with a dog in the family, and research has shown us that these children learn responsibility and empathy whilst increasing in self-esteem faster than non-dog-owning children. The Kennel Club has an ever-increasingly popular young kennel club facilitating the education of many of the future leaders of the dog world. Now, folks, no dog is 100% safe with anyone. However, by education, nearly 100% of dog-related accidents and bites are preventable. Do you know, for example, that 40% of bites happen to children under the age of 10? And 90% of under 4-year-olds that are bitten usually by a dog either known to them or in their own home, possibly their own dog. The most serious bites happen to children wherever. The Safe and Sound scheme wants to show adults how to be more responsible and to teach children some simple staying safe rules. The basic ingredients for a safe and sound child-dog relationship involves selection of a dog, not breed-specific, but specific to the individual circumstances. There is no perfect dog for every occasion. Careful pre-ownership planning of when to have a dog join the family, and responsible dog ownership training, and we would always recommend the Good Citizen Dog Scheme. And safe and sound around dogs education for all children, whether they live with a dog or not. Now, the theme for our demonstration this year is Cops and Robbers, Heroes and Villains, to show the good and bad side of how to treat dogs and how to act around dogs. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, may I present to you the Kennel Club Safe and Sound Scheme. Welcome to the Safe and Sound Scheme. Our little convicts and all the team today are representatives of the Arisia Dog Training Club based in Shropshire. Now, folks, don't be alarmed by anything you see during this display, as all the scenes have been carefully rehearsed to highlight potential danger areas where dogs and children interact. And before we start, I'd like to introduce you to our bite protection officers. They're dressed as policemen and carrying those large red danger flags. Our officers will highlight any potential dangers as it occurs. So, now let's start our demonstration, and where better to start than the greatest dog show in the world, Crufts!
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Well, here now we see Year 6 from Clarges Street Junior School on a day trip to Crufts. And they've seen some fantastic displays. They've just seen the RAF police dogs and the presentations of the police dog handlers. And they've been given some free time now, just as you may be doing with your children here at Crufts today. And the teacher's telling them, be back in an hour's time. Don't split up, stay in groups, don't talk to strangers, and don't leave the building. But he's given them no safety instructions about dogs. Now, some of these children are wandered around to the benching areas. This is where the display dogs are kept, in between displays. And contrary to the rules of Crufts, these children are unsupervised, and there's been a dog left unattended on the bench. It's tied up to its bench, so it can't run anywhere. Now, our children love dogs. Look, they'd love to meet these dogs, wouldn't they? But look at the way they're approaching the dogs. They're trying to call them off the bench. They're now waving their arms in front of the dog. They're shouting. They're making barking noises. They're really teasing these dogs. And these dogs are going to feel frightened, intimidated, and they've got nowhere to run to. This is a dangerous situation. Stop. Children, we know that we should never approach unattended dogs, and Crufts is no exception. If you'd like to meet a dog here today, what should you do? Well, that's right. We should adopt what we call the safe and sound approach. That is that we ask the owner for permission to stroke the dog, and here we see the owners have come back to their dogs, so our children are asking for permission. And once we have that permission, we offer the dog the back of the hand to sniff, so that the dog is confident that we don't pose a threat and comfortable with us being that close. And then we can progress the stroking from there, gently. This is the safe and sound approach. Well done, children. Well, the children have had a great day at Crufts, and they've returned to school and they've been released for the day, and they're on their way home. Now, some of these children, their journey takes them past a fenced front garden, and in that front garden, there are some dogs minding their own business. But these children have decided to stop and play right outside the front garden. They're making a hell of a racket, and this is really upsetting the dogs. They're barking and they're growling. And the children have now started playing some very boisterous games. They're playing a game of tease. And one of them has picked up the other one's mobile phone, and they're running around playing piggy in the middle, not letting them have it back. I wonder how this game is going to progress. Oh dear, Butterfingers has dropped the phone over into the garden. I bet they're not going to want to tell their parents they've lost their phone. How are they going to retrieve it? Well, there's an idea, isn't it? Let's find a stick and poke it through the bars of the fence. We might be able to get hold of the phone and drag it towards us. But that only seems to make the dogs even more angry. They're now barking and growling and they're attacking the stick. So that's not working, is it? What else could we do, boys and girls? Well, this looks interesting. What are we going to do to get the phone back? Oh, dear, dear me. Stop right there, children. I think you should get down straight away. This is a potentially dangerous situation, and that sound you heard was an ambulance that is likely to be taking these children to hospital. They've decided to pick on the small one and put them over the fence to go and grab the phone quickly and run back. But we already heard that the dogs are growling, they're angry, they're probably going to be displaying their guarding and territorial instincts. And I'm sure that if the child were to enter this garden, they would be bitten. Not only that, there was no obvious means of helping them because they'd be isolated. What should we have done, boys and girls? That's right. We should have gone past the garden in the first place, minding our own business. That way we would not have upset the dogs, and we would have all stayed safe and sound. And if we have lost our phone in the garden, we should tell our parents. They might be upset that we've lost the phone, but they'll be very happy to know that you stayed safe and sound. So, having sensibly gone past the front garden, the children now make their way to the park. But upon reaching the park, they notice a dog tied up to the park gates, all on its own. Now, children have been to the sweet shop, and they've got all their sweeties to share with their friends. And we've already heard they love dogs, and they feel sorry for the dog tied up. They want to go and meet it. They want to go and cuddle the dog and share their sweets with it. But look what they're doing. They're crouching down very low, right to the height of the dog. The dog has been left by its owner for whatever reason, tied to a fence so it can't run away. Again, this dog is going to be feeling frightened and threatened. And these children coming close and calling the dog and making gestures and waving food in front of its face is a recipe for disaster. Stop. Children, if you approach a dog that you do not know and try to cuddle or feed it without its owner, it could be frightened and it may well growl or bite you. What should we do to stay safe? That's right, we looked at this a few minutes ago. If the owner's not present, we should ignore the dog and go on our business. But if the owner is there and you'd like to meet the dog, we follow that safe and sound approach. We ask for permission to stroke the dog, offer the dog the back of the hand to sniff, and then gently progress the stroking from there. Well done, boys and girls. Now, finally, the children make it into the park, where they meet up with lots of their friends to play their games. We've got ball games, we've got skipping, they've got all their sweets to share and eat, and generally just hang around. Now, the most common park users are children for play and recreation and dog owners to exercise their dogs. And for the most part, they both get along with sharing the park quite well. But what happens when we receive unwelcome attention from a dog? That's right. We adopt the position that we call the safe and sound tree. That is that we drop everything we have in our hands, we stand straight and still, fold our arms across our chest, head down, and we look and act boring. And we wait for the dog to go away or for somebody to come and help us. Well done, boys and girls. Now, folks, you should never let your dog become a nuisance to others. And if you ever need help in controlling your dog, the Kennel Club Good Citizen Dog Scheme runs courses throughout the UK to help dog owners teach their dogs to become socially acceptable. You can find out more information at their stand in Hall 3 today. But sometimes, you know, the tree is not enough to keep us safe. So we're going to look at the park again, and we've got a group of children playing, and some bigger children join them, having a great game of ball, really having some fun. But let's see what happens this time when we receive continued attention from an over-exuberant dog. That's right. If we are unfortunately knocked to the ground by a dog, we adopt the position that we call the safe and sound stone. That is that when we fall to the ground, we drop everything we have in our hands, curl up like a ball on our front, tuck our hands and elbows in, face down, and we look and act boring. And we wait for the dog to go away or for somebody to come and help us. Well done, children. Well, with all the playtime over, they now make their way home. Let's see what trouble awaits our convicts at home. Well, here we have a typical family scene. Everybody's arrived home from school and work. The children are sitting down in the living room. Mum's home from work and she's sitting on the sofa, texting her friend, really, really busy and engrossed on her phone. And the family dog, one's sitting on the sofa next to her and one's laying down on the bed in the middle of the room. Now, Mum, for some reason, wants to be confidential with her call, so she's leaving the room, leaving the children and the dogs on their own. Now, you may notice a couple of our children, they're feeling peckish. They've nipped off to the kitchen to get themselves a snack. And they've returned to the living room, and they'd like to sit on the sofa. But the dog's occupying the sofa. So how are they going to get the dog off the sofa? Right, well, I see we're trying to command the dog at the moment, but the dog's paying no attention whatsoever. So commands aren't working. What might they do next? Oh, I see. Tempt it with some food. That's teasing the dog slightly, isn't it? Because we shouldn't give dogs human food. But that doesn't seem to be working either. Anything else, boys and girls? Oh dear, stop right there. As you can see, they've decided everything else has failed to grab the dog's collar and try and pull it from the sofa. Don't forget, folks, your children are not pack leaders in your dog's eyes, and therefore it's highly likely that they will not always respond to the child's command. Teasing a dog with food or trying to grab the dog could result in a bite. What should we do, boys and girls? That's right. Call for Mum. Bring Mum back a responsible adult in the house who can calm the situation down. Mum can easily command the dog and remove it from the sofa, place it on the floor, allowing you to sit down and eat your snack. And that way we stay safe and sound. Well done, boys and girls. Now, unfortunately, having done all that, Mum decided again to go out of the room. I really don't know who she's texting, but it must be very confidential. But you'll notice now the children have got a little bit bored watching TV, and they've started playing. And you know what it's like with our children, folks. They start getting a little bit boisterous, and they're pushing and shoving, they're chasing one another around. Really energetic games all around the dog. And then we have a child trying to wake the dog up, patting the floor, got her face down really low to the dog, shaking the dog, trying to wake it up. There's chaos going on in this room, and it's a potential for being bitten. Children, stop. If you disturb your dog when it's asleep, it could bite you. And if you startle a dog or frighten him, he could also bite you. And there's no adult here to supervise this situation. After all, folks, things can go wrong in just an instant. What should happen here, boys and girls?
Mom? Dad?
That's right. Call for mum or dad, any responsible adult in the home to come in and calm the situation down. Calm the children down, calm the dog down, reassure them all. Remember, parents, never leave young children alone with a dog, and never allow children to overexcite a dog or touch a dog when it's sleeping. Well done, boys and girls. Well, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, we're coming towards the end of our very short demonstration on the Kennel Club Safe and Sound scheme. But before we go, we'd like to remind you of 3 very important points from our demonstration. And we'd be very pleased if you went through the actions with us in the audience. And please tell any children you come into contact with about Safe and Sound, because we'd like to keep all children safe and sound around dogs. The first thing we'd like to remind you of is the Safe and Sound approach. If you'd like to meet a dog, particularly here at Crufts today, first ask permission from the owner. Once we have permission, we offer the dog the back of the hand to sniff, so that it's confident we don't pose a threat and comfortable with us being that close. And then we gently progress the stroking from there. That is the Safe and Sound approach. If we do receive unwelcome attention from a dog, we adopt the position that we call the Safe and Sound tree. That is that we drop everything we have in our hands, we stand straight and still, fold our arms across our chest, head down, and we look and act boring. We wait for the dog to go away or for somebody to come and help us. And finally, if we are knocked to the ground, we adopt the position that we call the Safe and Sound stone. That is that when we fall down to the ground, we drop everything we have in our hands, we curl up like a ball on our front, we tuck our hands and elbows in, face down, and we look and act boring. And again, wait for help to arrive or for dog to go away. Well done, boys and girls. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes our short demonstration on the Kennel Club Safe and Sound scheme. Please remember never to leave a small child alone with a dog. If you'd like to find out more about the scheme, please visit us in Hall 3 today, or visit the website www.safeandsoundarounddogs.org.uk, and please take part in the online Safety Factor Challenge. See if you can keep you and your children safe and sound. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been my privilege and pleasure to present to you the Kennel Club Safe and Sound scheme.